Well, in what might be the tightest edited 3-minute video of your lifetime, you're going to get a full update on Clayton Echard on Inside Edition. This happened last night. TV star Clayton Echard speaks out, saying he was targeted in a scam. Now, this is fascinating because this is wild, right? This is how it works. We've covered this for 2 years. This story doesn't happen without you. This story does not make it here. We could not get anybody, including Megyn Kelly, Inside Edition, anybody to cover this story. Now that you've helped donate to all of the legal funds and the causes and put public pressure on the county attorney, because you've done all of that, I'm speaking to you, all of you out there, because you continue to watch, like, share, subscribe, and do all of that support, you've created an ecosystem of people that are seeking justice. This is for you. This is for all of you out there. I'm going to try my best to play this in its entirety. I might talk over a little bit of it, but that's to kind of get around the copyright issue, but let's have a listen.
Is on TV's The Bachelor. Now he's back on TV telling Inside Edition he was targeted in a scam. A woman falsely claimed he got her pregnant with twins. And as Jim Murray reports, he may not
they call it Bachelor Baby Scam. I like that title.
Be the only victim.
The Bachelor's Clayton Echard made TV history when he became the first ever Bachelor rejected at the final rose ceremony.
Low blow.
Think that I'm your person.
Now a new turn in the life of the TV personality, and it's something he never expected. He had a brief romantic encounter with this woman, who he says later tried to destroy him.
By the way, that brief encounter was 2 oral adjustments to 2 third bases, I think were 2 triples. It was not a home run. They don't get into the specifics, but I'm letting you guys know it was just throat stuff.
I'm dealing with the most crazy individual I've ever met in my life.
My name is Laura Owens.
Laura Owens is a real estate investor with a...
Kudos to the editor. I'm dealing with the craziest woman in my life. Hi, I'm Laura Owens. Oh, boy.
talent for public speaking. Clayton is also in real estate in Arizona.
Did she know you from The Bachelor?
Yes. She was very flirtatious. She had sent me a provocative photo.
Clayton says they had a fling after she reached out to him to buy a house he was
In the very, very edited photos.
selling.
I told her that hey, last night was a mistake. I shouldn't have crossed that professional boundary.
Clayton says 11 days later, Laura Owens sent him a shocking email claiming she was pregnant with his baby. Then she slapped him with a paternity suit, alleging she was having his twins.
You knew that you could not have gotten her pregnant. You said you'd never had intercourse.
I knew that we didn't have sex.
She shows you this, which she says is an ultrasound of your baby.
Which, by the way, that photo we have discovered is actually a photo that has been confirmed to be an ultrasound of her sister's. Justice for Clayton official has the sort of full story here where her own attorney described that was her sister's ultrasound. We've known this because, you know, she's claimed it was hers, but it's important to know the fraud she's committing has no bounds, really. There's no end in sight. She'll use anybody's ultrasounds, really, as far as we could tell, from strangers in Texas to ultrasound videos in Boston to her own sister.
Yes, that's correct.
Clayton says it was nonstop. Owens bombarded him with ultrasounds, which he says are fake. He says she even made herself look pregnant in this video.
And by the way, this is what she accused me of, the revenge P word, P-O-R-N, right? She accused me of by sharing this, which she had already publicly shared. She called the FBI on me or whoever because of this photo that is now on Inside Edition. Wild stuff. No, that's not revenge P word. I've never met you. I've never had a reason to seek revenge on you. She sees it as revenge, but it's really just justice for the victims.
She was just taking medications in order to appear bloated.
Clayton demanded a paternity test. 5 months later, Laura Owens complied. He revealed the test results on Instagram, which he says proved his case.
Thankfully, 5 months of torture can finally be put to rest.
She wasn't pregnant at all.
The case went to court, and Owens continued to stick to her story.
I had very bad morning sickness and nausea.
Owens was now saying she had suffered a miscarriage and wanted the paternity suit dropped. But then came a jaw-dropping turn.
Laura, Scottsdale Police.
An early morning police raid at Laura Owens' house.
No!
As cops lead her away, she has a meltdown.
You're hurting me! You are hurting me!
Cops serve a search warrant for a new criminal case that alleges Owens committed fraud and perjury in her paternity suit against Clayton.
Which will feature star witness Dave Neal, possibly. I'm here if they need me. When I'm watching this, my wife's mom is in town, and she's, of course, tangentially followed this story based on things that have happened. I was actually with my wife's family on my birthday when the 7 felonies were announced, and for them to see my family go through the sort of pain and having to deal with all of the accusations she's made about me and the threats of lawsuits and whatnot, for me to be able to show this 3-minute clip to my mother-in-law, it's just chef's kiss. To be like, look, we knew this all the time, and now the world is getting to see this craziness that went on. And without you guys, this doesn't get made. Because here's what happens, just so you know. 2023, October, November, December. When December comes around, the court is ready to drop this paternity case because there was no movement happening. It was at that time that Clayton needed good legal representation to tell him, all right, now we're going to go after money. That way the case stays open and whatnot. If it wasn't for that, the case just goes away. She claims she has a miscarriage. Then she writes books about us. She threatens us. She sues us. She'll probably still sue us, but she does all of these other things because in the past, that's as far as people took it, so then she could write the story after the courts are done handling it. And we said no. We said metaphorically, we're going to stick that dog's head in the mess that it created and say, bad. You can't do that. You can't do this to people. It's not a man versus woman issue. It's like you can't do this to people just because they didn't want to date you. And because of that, it's led to this whole chain reaction. And now this is nothing. This is a 3-minute quick clip. There'll be, I don't know, a 6-hour docuseries about this. The ink hasn't been signed yet. It will happen. Let me tell you guys something that you might not know. And maybe this is new information. I am bombarded with DMs from production companies every single day regarding this story. Every victim involved is working together to get the truth out there. Okay? Every victim involved is on the same page about what needs to be done just to share the story. And they want Laura to get help. She's frail. She's damaged. She's got mental health issues. Her mom enables this. So the people that are supposed to help aren't. And we want her to get help. Absolutely. It's scary to think that the safest place for her might be in jail at this point.
You guys don't understand!
Now these 2 men have reached out to Clayton saying it happened to them too. They say that Laura Owens had also falsely accused them of impregnating her with twins.
We ask that you keep us in our thoughts and prayers.
Attorney Rachel Juarez from the court TV show Hot Bench represents Michael Marachi.
It seems
Maricini.
to be a pattern of fraud that's going on. There are a number of men that she has alleged to have gotten her pregnant, and there's never been a baby that has come out of any of these pregnancies.
Today, TV's former Bachelor has this warning.
She's still, probably looking for her next victim.
Laura Owens is facing 7 felony charges. She has pleaded not guilty. Her paternity case was thrown out by a judge who ruled she, quote, knowingly presented a false claim.
All right, Inside Edition. Boy, somebody's going to get an angrily worded email. Fire up the blogger. Oh, boy. So there's your update. So if you want more information, Justice for Clayton Official on Instagram. They're on Twitter. The Justice for Clayton community on Reddit. They're compiling all this information. You guys already know all that. Let's move on to another story that's equally as important. Very different. But here, Donald Trump has announced yesterday that because of the fact that the Democrats have gone stone cold crazy, the choice is clear. Initiate the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and make America great again. So tomorrow, November 1st, my half birthday and one of the greatest days of the year, the day that you get to watch, hungover, Betty Boops walking home from whatever Halloween party they were at, a stride of pride, as it were. Not a walk of shame, it's a stride of pride. But on November 1st, we're going to start to see the open enrollment of healthcare, where people are going to realize how much more money they're going to have to pay in 2026. In some cases, people's healthcare costs are already projected to go from $12,000 to $36,000. In many cases, people are saying, I just won't be on healthcare anymore. I literally will be uninsured. And this is all what's happening because of a bill that was signed to give tax cuts to the ultra wealthy, and they have to find a way to fund that. One of the reasons is they're going to cut subsidies that have been helping people. So this is all important information you need to know because I guess now Trump is instructing them to go with to get rid of the filibuster so that they can just open the government up. And if they do that, the government opens up, which means people will get their SNAP benefits and life goes back to normal until you get the bill for your upcoming health insurance. What I'm asking people to do is send me a DM when you do check your Affordable Care Act bill, when you look at your when you're shopping for your health care, and let me know what your 2025 prices were and what your 2026 prices would be based on the same plan, because I want to share with people the absurdities of what's going on. This is really important. This affects 20 million people. There's a lot of people that will not be able to afford health care because, and it's not like we get any money back, because of tax cuts to the ultra wealthy, not you and I, the ultra wealthy. They're the ones benefiting to the tune of $1 trillion. So here's Kristi Noem. It's Halloween, so we're going to cover this. She was asked by the Governor J.D. Pritzker to pause ICE enforcement just for Halloween, for Halloween until 2028. No, just for Halloween, for the sake of the kids. Here's her response.
Operation Midway Blitz to be on pause for the holiday weekend. Are you willing to do that? And if you're not, why not?
No, we're absolutely not willing to put on pause any work that we will do to keep communities safe. The fact that Governor Pritzker is asking for that is shameful, and I think unfortunate that he doesn't recognize how important the work is that we do to make sure we're bringing criminals to justice and getting them off our streets, especially when we're going to send all of our kiddos out on the streets and going to events and enjoying the holiday season.
I think that's the point he's trying to make, which is there's a lot of tear gas and pepper spray and chemical agents being used. Can we not do that on the night where kids will be walking around the streets? So pretty wild stuff if you ask me. I made a TikTok video. You can find me on TikTok, DNeils, or on Instagram at DNeils. And that my video I made is a strong take. The video I made was that you cannot be considered pro-life if you don't support the SNAP program, the food stamp program, affordable health care. If you don't support helping people live, I don't believe you can be considered pro-life. Now, the pro-life movement really is about abortion rights or lack thereof. But I challenge people with this viewpoint that we need to be a society that acts like the richest country in the world, a country that can afford to take care of each other, just like we can afford to. I mean, think about how expensive it is. We're sending a fleet of ships to Venezuela to start a new war. We're funding other wars that exist in other parts of the country, but we have to spare. We have to fight with insurance companies if we trip and fall down. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Well, here we have Benedictine sister Joan Chittister. This is an interview from 2004 where she underscores how important it is to be truly pro-life. Have a listen.
I do not believe that just because you're opposed to abortion that makes you pro-life. In fact, I think in many cases your morality is deeply lacking. If all you want is a child born, but not a child fed, not a child educated, not a child housed, and why would I think that you don't? Because you don't want any tax money to go there. That's not pro-life. That's pro-birth. We need a much broader conversation on what the morality of pro-life is. But I do not.
And I'm here to have that. And had to check on Joan, Sister Joan, 89 years young, still out there kicking. I'd love to hear her thoughts on what's going on out there. But hey, listen, the Rush Hour podcast, we're here to deliver you the news. We want you to get to work safely. We want you to get home safely. We want you to live in a thriving and abundant community. And that's why I strongly disagree with a lot of what's going on. We're not getting rid of violent criminals. I mean, maybe there's some violent criminals in the deportation, but we already had those laws. We're ripping families apart. There's stories of people that are dying in prison because they were deported and they weren't able to get the cancer medications they need. I mean, these are factual things that are happening. There are stories of people that literally are having ectopic pregnancies because they can't get an abortion after having a stillbirth. There's so many stories out there of people that are suffering for no reason other than we've put in these archaic policies that don't address the real problems, which is not just healthcare for women, but healthcare for everybody. So it's a real shame that even 21 years later, Sister Joan's message is still not being fully received. Well, how about this? It's a very inappropriate public display here from married J.D. Vance and Charlie Kirk's wife. You guys tell me. I don't know. Is this too much? This is the widow of Charlie Kirk hugging very close. No room for the Holy Spirit. You got to leave 6 inches for the Holy Spirit here. Now, this isn't the problem. It's when she puts her meat hooks on the back of his head. So there they are. Look, they got the arrow to show. Is this too much? I don't know. You know, is it just a kind vice president meeting with a, widow of a podcaster? Could I contact? I don't know. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to start something where there isn't any. And then he goes, hey, there it is. He didn't do anything wrong, right? He just went in for the hug. But of course, articles say J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk slammed for discussing an inappropriate embrace at Mississippi event. I don't know. In defense, a body language expert says that J.D. and Erica were simply sharing a moment of emotional vulnerability after critics slammed the pair for being inappropriate during an on-air hug. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'll clip this one up and put it on TikTok and Instagram. I'd love to know your thoughts there. I don't know. I mean, if my wife saw a photo of me hugging somebody like that, she'd probably be like, well, I hope you're going to enjoy the couch tonight. But of course, we know JD will. So anyhow, let's move it on from there. This is an insane story I have to share with you. So Stephen Miller is one of the more powerful people in the country. He's like Trump's right-hand man, or you could say far right-hand man. And Stephen Miller's wife, the center here in this crazy panel, actually threatened to revoke Cenk Uygur's citizenship. He's a naturalized citizen, which means he wasn't born here, but he is an American citizen. And in the past, there's really been no one's ever really been deported if they are a citizen, right? But here she is actually, because she's losing an argument, Stephen Miller's wife is saying, we're going to look at your immigration papers and make sure everything's okay, because if it's not, you're getting out of here. It's going to be hard to hear because 5 people are yelling on top of each other, but this is insane. This would be insane for just a random panelist to say, but the wife of the guy who's pretty much running all of these policies to deport people and really trying to make like a white ethno state. He's trying to get back to this like Western European world. And, because they're doing this because they're like, no, we want immigrants like South Africans, white people, but we want to get rid of the immigrants. So it's so racist what's going on. Have a listen.
Right. Hold on. So what happened in the Holocaust and all the pogroms,
she says you better check your citizenship application and make sure everything's good or whatever she says. He doesn't hear it at the time because he's yelling, but that's absolutely wild for her to say that. She accuses him of being anti-Semitic because he was criticizing her. I didn't even know that they were Jewish. I didn't know that Katie Miller was Jewish or Stephen Miller. I had no idea. And Cenk's like, what are you talking about? Don't make this about something that it's not. Well, this is wild and a side story. During his arrest for drunk driving, the ICE agent told the officers he'd look into his black partner, saying he might be a nice guy, but laws are laws. You're a ginger, so I'm sure you're legal. You might remember we covered the ICE agent who was arrested for a DUI, and he was threatening to deport one of the officers who had a Haitian accent. This is crazy. Have a listen to this audio.
And if he's not legit, he's taking a ride back to Haiti. Well, that'd be sad. He's a nice guy. Well, he may be a nice guy, but laws are laws, right? Yeah. So I'm going to dig into him.
So the guy getting arrested for drunk driving, who was, by the way, had his kids in the car or whatever, he's saying the laws are the laws. So I'm going to look into your black police officer partner to make sure things are on the books. This is wild what they're doing out there. Wild. And again, it's like all because this guy couldn't follow the law, all because this guy couldn't drive while not being intoxicated, he needs to punish the officer by looking into his immigration status, a guy that's just doing his job, serving and protecting. It's a wild time out there, folks. It's a wild time. We continue to cover these stories. We are immune to the criticism of those that say, stay in your lane and don't cover this. These are the biggest stories of our lifetime right now. They truly are. The fabric of democracy is under attack. It truly is. And I think what's going to happen tomorrow is the beginning stage of the find out. FAFO, fuck around and find out. Tomorrow we begin to find out as people start to unravel the cost of healthcare for 2026, realize that grocery prices aren't any cheaper. We're not in a safer world. And, all of these other issues that are going on are not making our lives better. It will be a 3.5 week journey of people realizing that they're getting royally fucked. And then maybe by Thanksgiving, we'll all come together a little bit and go, boy, this is pretty bad out there. I don't know. It's a start. We'll see. I hope everyone's well fed this weekend. I hope SNAP benefits come back, and I hope the government opens up. I'm not sure if that will be the case, but I wish everyone well. Have a safe Halloween. Don't eat any candy that's unwrapped, and don't forget to drop some off for me. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and then some. We'll see you then. I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.